Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi. We are here for another session on Rammed Earth. We had a very successful session last week with Mr. Donald Sequeira from Jia Mantra Global Village. And we received so many questions on Instagram that we decided to do another short session today. Where we'll basically just be going through and answering all of your questions on Rammed Earth. In our last session, we did go through the details on soil selection, soil mix. We talked about the process of construction, the structure required. Today, interestingly, there are some questions that go into a little bit more detail and more specifics. So we will get those answered by Donald as well. Let me just quickly tell you what we're doing here. We're doing a bunch of Instagram lives on sustainable architecture. We've done some in the past on ecological site planning, on rainwater harvesting, evaporative cooling, urban forestry, and the use of lime in construction. So you can find all of those videos on our Instagram feed. We basically are trying to talk to practitioners who, know what they're talking about when it comes to these techniques. And we're really going into details of implementation, how-tos, and the pros and cons. So this is not just surface level information. We're actually talking about details in the hope that people who are out there, architects and students and, the community who want to integrate sustainable practices into their buildings can use these as their go-to guides for practicing or integrating some of these techniques into their buildings. And our goal here is really to push sustainability in architecture. We are big proponents of it, and we know that there are a whole bunch of you out there who are also very much wed to the idea. Very quickly, so we can get started. And while he's coming on, let me quickly. Hey, hi, Donald. Hey,
Hi.
how are you?
Great.
Thanks for coming back.
Pleasure.
I'm glad. Lovely. So, Donald here is an architect who has started a community outside of Pondicherry called Chia Mantra Global Village, and they're integrating a lot of sustainable practices into their construction techniques. And as you can see, the space that Donald is in right now is this lovely, building built out of bamboo, which is his office. So I guess everyone sort of gets an idea about, what Jia Mantra is about. I was just, kind of introducing the fact that we've done one session before, Donald, and that session we did go into a lot of details on, soil mix, structure, rammed earth, pros and cons. But interestingly, we have a bunch of questions that are different from, just that sort of main gist of the topic that we discussed. So I'm going to try to address those questions and not be repetitive. And hopefully we can, keep it short and wrap it up in half an hour. That's our goal. But once we get talking, that rarely happens.
We
So
can try.
we can try, yes. I can be very specific in my questions. So let me get started here. The first set of questions that I have here are basically on choosing the soil, the composition, and the soil mixture that is required for rammed earth construction. And we did touch on that. Um, but I think this is still an important kind of a topic, so maybe we kind of go over it again. So the first question is, can we use local soil? Is there an ideal sourcing system for the soil, and what is the ideal soil mixture for rammed earth?
Yeah. Yeah. You should go for local soil and always go with your local soil. And there is a simple bottle test. So you take a bottle, a distillery bottle, pour in like, half it with soil and water, and then give it a nice shake, you know, and then let it set rest for a couple of hours, and then you will see the sedimentation. So you will get to know then, like you will have various levels, and it's very clearly visible. It
Yeah,
doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, so what your soil is, and then you will see there will be, there is the clay, which is the heavier ones, and then the sandy ones, and then there is the uh, you know the silt or whatever. So you'll get 3 4 layers, and so those are the soils that you want. That's what you've got now. Ideally, most soils would be okay for a basic rammed earth structure. So the one thing to watch out for uh, is your clay content. The clay content shouldn't exceed more than 30%. I mean, ideally, it's like anything between 10 to 30%. Lower the better, but the it shouldn't ever exceed. And if your soil is beyond 30%, there's a very simple solution to it. Get some soil from outside, which has got a lower, again, do a bottle test there, and it's got a lower this one, so you can. And if you cannot get any other soil, you'll have to just add a little more cement or lime to it. So to get and bring it down to about that 20 25%. That's it.
clay
I mean, it's
content.
very simple. Yeah, clay content. So it is not very, and you'll have to test it out a bit, but
Yeah,
it's really not. Don't get very scared. Be okay to experiment and be okay to fail. That's the best way to learn.
right. And
We've made
then
hundreds of
last
mistakes.
time you had mentioned why the clay content should be lower. So do you want to just go over that as well?
Yeah, because it's such cracking. Clay is brittleish in a way, and kind of like. So what it'll do is your rammed earth walls will start cracking over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And again, is clay is not a stable material, so it's kind of expands, contracts, and kind of thing. So it's not very stable to have. And because these are again load bearing walls, so um, so it's you don't want to also. And even there's a compression strength issue there, because when you're ramming, there is only so much you can ram with clay,
Right,
because so that is one of the few drawbacks of excessive clay in this one.
right.
But there is a simple solution. You don't need to. You can just dilute it with some other soil.
Got it, got it.
And if
Um,
you've got nothing, you can't find soil, just use M sand.
okay, okay. I've also seen examples where people have used slag, which is sort of like a waste product from manufacturing industries. So they've also used slag.
But I wouldn't you see, again, it depends on what is the, because for us it's an art form. So
Mm.
now what is the outcome that we want to get it? So slag is not a very, I mean, we aren't very comfortable with slag, and we don't use it.
Yeah, I mean, it does
So I
make the
can't,
soil very gray, like it makes it look dirty
yeah,
and gray.
great gray, and it's it's, I mean, when I want to create a rammed earth, I want to create a beautiful structure.
Mm.
That's why I'm going in for rammed earth, and then I don't want like a bland, boring
Yeah,
wall.
yeah, yeah, that's what it does become.
I want a piece of art.
Someone's asked, can it be done with black cotton soil? Do you have experience with that?
A black cotton soil is good. I mean, I think you can use it. I don't have too much personal experience, but I know people who've used it, and it's beautiful colors, and but again, with that, you will again have to, it will have a higher clay content,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll have to mix it up with something else. So, but
Yeah.
it's a beautiful color. It's a beautiful. So or you
Get
can
some.
wash it also. So again, if you have a high clay content, you can wash it and bring the clay content down.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so wash it so the clay gets diluted, and
Washes
some of
away.
it. Yeah, if you don't have any other solutions, this is
Right.
a simpler way.
Right, right. Can we add like river sand?
Yeah, you can, but I wouldn't. For sustainable architecture, I would
Yeah.
not go for river
Agreed,
sand, because
agreed.
it's.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a big no. River
Okay.
sand for me is a no.
No, no, I understand that.
I would go for a M sand.
Okay. Got it. Then the next set of questions are about the structure, and were a couple of questions actually about the size of the structure that can be built. Can it be scaled? Can it be 3 or 4 stories? And you did answer that last time in our session where
Yeah.
you said, yeah, go ahead.
So again, yeah, you can build 2 or 3 stories, but then your scaffolding, your wall thicknesses, your structural stability will all have to take in consideration. The costs get very high because then I mean, if you're going a 3 story, then you will have minimum 2 feet thickness of wall, then it can go like
Yeah.
uh 1.5 feet, and then so ramming those kind of walls again is not
And all of this
a
is done, you said last time that because all of this is done manually, so then you're actually talking about, raising the masons to those many levels who are going to be ramming. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so cost effective, we find it ground plus one.
okay.
It's the most cost effective.
Hmm.
Ground is the most cost effective. Ground plus one is fine. But beyond that, there are so many other materials available. Why not,
Explore
go
some
with
other
CFCP?
materials. Yeah.
Yeah, go with compressed stabilized earth blocks.
Mm.
So, which is in breathable material, the same kind of, I would choose another material
Composition.
rather than just going around earth
Yeah.
straight on,
Got it.
and it's also gets very monotonous after a while.
Okay. How does one calculate the load bearing capacity of a rammed earth wall?
Yeah, so basically, if it's ground plus one, ground or ground plus one, I would just go with what we've got. A standard measure is like 9-inch wall of any, or a 9-inch stabilized earth block would be fine. If you've done your plinth well, your foundation well. So but that's basically that's yeah. If you're going for the first floor, you would have a 1 foot wall, minimum 1 foot wall. And there is, of course, like we said also last time, there's a compression strength of like minimum about 6 or so that, if you go with it. But, like again, if that is a lab test. Then there is when we are compressing on the site, we have a pedometer.
Hmm.
So if you get a pedometer, then you can, like as you're ramming,
Mm-hmm.
you can just use the pedometer and you see how much it pushes in. If it pushes in very much, then you need to ram it more. So it's available on Amazon pedometer. So you can just buy one, and it's a very simple test.
Oh, really? Okay.
Or we can also share you a link, and then where you can get it.
Mm-hmm.
People can just buy a pedometer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's simple. It's a very simple thing. It's just a compression thing. You can just press it and
So
a
basically,
petrol.
what you're saying, if I could just paraphrase, you're saying that if one is doing just a ground floor structure, then the compressive strength of a 9-inch rammed earth wall will be similar to that of a 9-inch brick load-bearing structure.
CSCP. Yeah.
And wait, so not like clay bricks, you're saying it's equivalent to earth bricks, compressed earth bricks?
Earth bricks. Earth bricks. They are more
Okay.
stronger because clay bricks are not load bearing.
I mean, we do
Uh,
traditionally we do load-bearing structures with
yeah. So I
fired
think
clay bricks.
yeah, fired clay bricks are probably a way a lower compression strength.
Right, right. So they're
So they are
actually they're
usually
stronger than that
below 5. Uh,
compressive
and
strength.
this the minimum we are looking at anything between 6 and 7 kind of thing,
Okay,
and on average is about 9, 8, 9.
okay,
That we always get about 8, 9.
okay,
And
okay.
any engineering college around your place will do a
Lab
compression
test.
test.
Yes, yes. So, and then you said if you're doing a ground plus one, then the wall thickness on the ground floor should be
The
a minimum
the
of a
ground
foot.
should be 1 foot, and I would go with 9 inch on the first floor.
Right. And just to go, talk a little bit about this lab test, like there are a lot of labs locally available, everyone that can do this very simple compressive strength test for you. So, in fact, what we are doing now for one of our projects in Goa is we are actually making, cubes of with different mixes because we want to try different mixes, and then we're going to get them tested in a lab for their compressive strength to finally arrive at
Right.
the and as Donald keeps saying that a lot of this is about experimentation. So once you've done it once in one area, then I think that the architect or the practitioner has a much better idea of the soil that's available and what it can do for you.
And the pentrometer is also there. You can order it
Sorry.
online. And so you can also like so as you are experimenting and you can keep checking with it.
Okay,
So okay,
got it. Um,
you
then
can YouTube also how to use a pentrometer. It's very
pentrometer,
simple.
right? So not a pedometer, pentrometer.
Pentro penetration. No?
Okay, pentrometer, right? Yeah. And then, do you use any reinforcement for the walls, or is it just earth that's ran together?
That is norm. That's our standard practice.
Yeah,
No, no steel, except we put like your electrical and plumbing thing,
yeah. There's a
but
question about
otherwise
that. Yeah, later.
no other material. There's not no requirement because it's a load-bearing wall.
Yeah, yeah, got it. This is an interesting thought, a question, which, I
But
think,
just to so there is nothing in the wall, but then even the wall, like it's at the lentil level.
yeah,
Then we put a lentil at some point, 7 feet,
yeah,
8 feet, where the doors, window comes. So you will have to have a lentil there.
yeah,
But not if there is no opening in the wall, then you don't have to do any of that.
yeah. Um, got it. We talked about this last time, so I think it's already in the video last time, so I'm not going to go into that in too much detail. Someone's asking, can we do a 4-inch rammed earth partition wall inside an RCC frame structure? So I guess this is purely for aesthetics, and I think it could be quite interesting.
Yeah, but I don't think you see, the thing it requires a certain base for the arts. So it's not stable, and you cannot so if you see we have a rammer, and the rammer is about 5 or 6 inches base.
Yeah, good point.
So you cannot ram. There is a formwork, and then you have to have like enough space. So a rammer is 6 inches. That's why we have a 9 inch
Width.
formwork.
Hmm.
So then when we ram, there is sufficient space, and then we can go through the corners and while we are
Yeah.
ramming.
Okay. Yeah.
So so if you've been very narrow, and then you don't have the space to exert pressure because it's all about pounding in a
Right.
way,
Right.
ramming it.
Right. So
So you
technically a
just
4-inch would be difficult, but it can be
and I
still,
don't think
yeah, go ahead.
I have no experience, but I don't think it'll be stable because this again, it depends on how high, maybe 2 feet.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
it
I was going to
depends, but
say.
I wouldn't suggest like if it's 7 feet, then it doesn't
But
have
if
that.
say someone wants is okay with investing 9 inches into it, and but it can be done in a frame structure, right? As an internal kind of
Yes, yes, but
feature
yeah, but
wall.
frame, yeah. So frame structure, tech, it's difficult to do it because you would have your beam or your lentil on top. So how do you
I
ram?
mean, it'll have to be done before, I guess, right? So you can't
Yeah,
really
so you will
retrofit
have to
it.
do the wall and then do
Yeah,
you can have
interesting.
your columns,
Yeah.
but you will not be able to have your beams or your
Slab
lentils.
above that first. So first you'll have to
So
do the
yeah,
wall. Yeah. So it can't be
so
really
yeah,
like retrofitted later as just an interior
yeah. So for
addition.
yeah, if you want natural earth and you want to do frame structure, then CSEB is the solution.
Yeah. But I guess it's for the look, for the look of the rammed earth. Like,
Yeah, we are looking at coming up with probably module like where something we can assemble on site.
oh,
So it's
really?
something, yeah, compress it, and
Really?
we just had a discussion. We should do that.
But I think
There's
like
something.
when you're moving that, it would be quite fragile.
Yeah, yeah, it's a logistical issue. No,
Yeah.
it'll have to be cured, completely cured, and there is an interlocking groove, and
Maybe like
so it'll all be
sun-dried or
there.
something so that it becomes very, a little bit harder.
No, it's fully cured and dried, so it
Mm.
will be a minimum 1 month setting period and everything. So it would have to go through the entire curative process, and and then we'll have to cut or create an interlocking. We are thinking on
Oh
along those
wow,
technical.
that would be
But
that. I mean,
yeah,
that sounds amazing.
yeah,
I think that yeah, that sounds amazing, but I
yes,
think that it's
yeah.
hard to
So
do.
yeah, so we are looking at some of these things, because we know that a lot of people would be loving having Ramdat,
Hmm.
but then they don't have that whole formwork and all that stuff, and they would
Yeah,
just want one wall as a
yeah, feature
so.
wall. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
feature wall. So yeah, we were just brainstorming about that.
Interesting.
Maybe in a year's time, if
Interesting.
we
Okay, so
revisit.
everyone keep a lookout for that. Okay, then can we create an undulating wall by using metal corrugated sheets behind as part of the formwork?
I mean, but see like say when you're ramming, it'll have to be very thick. It can be done technically if you say yes, but it'll have to be a very thick metal sheet,
Hmm.
because when you're you will see
It
our
will tend to bend.
our post is like minimum 4 mm
Hmm.
steel
Hmm.
plate. So, like, so if you take, and I think these are like 16 gauge and 18 gauge, so it can't withstand the
No,
ramming
but what
pressure.
if like you line the inside of the formwork of your formwork
Yes,
with the metal
yes, so,
sheet just to
yeah,
get the undulation on the
yeah,
wall?
yeah. So you will get what will happen is that you will get the formwork won't bulge, but then the sheet itself will get compressed, unless we will have to put bamboo or. Yeah, so every corrugated this one you will have to then put bamboo or something, another support.
Hmm.
So it can be done, but it'll be a lot of work.
Got it. And then I mean, is it possible to do rammed earth walls that are not straight, like that are like, kind of organic and undulating?
No, you will have to curve. We have curved formworks,
Hmm.
but in that
It
it's
becomes
because it's along
expensive.
it's like a rail track. It's along a guided line. It
Hmm.
cannot like so if you want to make a curve, you'll have to make a curved formwork.
Yeah, which is
It can be
quite
done, but
expensive.
then
Yeah.
again, ramming is an issue at certain points, and
Yeah.
but you can do curve. Yes, there is curve formwork, and we can do it. But
Hmm.
then just the formwork itself, we are exploring the possibilities. There's a lot of pressure coming from one of our architects, to do curved walls, and then we are looking at investment of that ramp formwork, and then how often are we going to be using it, because it has to be a specific angle, and we have to keep being able to repeat it.
I have a friend actually who lives like between London and Goa, and he has built a house for himself in Ramdat in Goa. And, his central part of the house is actually circular, and he did it in Ramdat because he had this whole vision of,
Circular,
yeah.
there is formwork for columns. There's certain, like, so you can make a rammed column because it's kind of like a mold.
Mm,
That is much easier than making a wall,
yeah.
which is, like
Circular
curved
or
or round.
curved, yeah. So
Yeah,
I guess it comes down to investing in the formwork actually, and then obviously
yeah,
the curves
it,
shouldn't be too small where the ramming becomes difficult.
yeah, it can
Yeah,
be too. Yeah, there has to be a certain space. So ramming is easier.
right. Okay, so the next question is, I think, something that you love, which we touched upon last time, but I think it's good to go over it again, which is how to achieve desirable waveforms in the rammed earth walls while casting. So I guess everyone has seen the beautiful walls that you guys are doing. So tell us, and I know you love to do it, so tell us more.
Right. So it's yeah. So I we're just today we were doing it. So there is, I don't know, but would be able to show that little video. Can we show it?
Or we
Those are
can
pictures.
maybe put it up later or share from your
Yeah, we
Instagram.
can put it up later. So
Yeah.
what it is, see, okay, I'll just explain. So you just kind of like with the base, whatever form you want to make. So okay, Apu's just drawing out a little. So if you, yeah, okay, let me just show you one little, like, see what they are just doing it today. They've been doing it. Yeah. Just show. Yeah. So this is what, see, you can see that curve.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So he's just, so, yeah. So he's just laying that one, and then you will have to lay another layer on top, and then you know what you, and then, so it has to be within that 2 feet thing, and then you start ramming it.
Yeah. So basically, you're
You-
not putting it flat. You're kind of putting, when you're putting the different
Yeah,
colored
you put
material, you put it in
whatever form
waves.
you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
you put it
coloring you were achieving, you said last time, by using different soils, different soil
different
mixes.
soils. Yeah. See, again, if you see that there's a next layer of soil on top.
Yeah.
Now this is a different layer,
Different color.
and then yeah, different color. Then you use lime, or whatever you want,
Yeah.
oxide or whatever.
Yeah.
So these
Beautiful.
are
So can you, is that like raw lime? Like if to get a white wave, can you just use
yeah,
like
raw, like just lime powder,
just lime powder? Okay.
lime and white cement mixed in it
Okay.
for the mod.
Okay. Great. You can also use oxides, everyone. Like there are different colored oxides that are
Yeah, the
available.
color oxide, but use only natural oxides because if you any pick color artificially, this one they will fade over a period of time.
Right, right.
Because they won't be able to stand that the bleaching effect of the sun and the weather.
This is so beautiful. Thank you for showing us those images. It's so lovely
Yeah,
to see it.
we were just doing it today,
I feel like
and
touching
maybe
it.
tomorrow when we'll just post a small video tomorrow, probably send it to you,
Yeah.
and about how we open up the form work and what will
Oh,
show up,
oh,
so you can see that a bit.
amazing. Yes, please, please. We would love it.
Right.
Okay, next question is, what is the time required for curing of the walls? And up to what height
Yeah,
can be built in a day?
no, you have to finish whatever height that you want to achieve in one day. So the ram depth is again 1 meter. We normally go by 1 meter or 4 feet, and the
Width,
entire height that you want to make, is it 7 feet or 8 feet, has to be done in that day. You cannot make half of it.
because of the
So
bonding.
you and so yeah. So if you're doing a window, then you just do that till the window level. You know. So up to lintel level has to be done in that day.
Because it becomes, it needs to be one monolithic structure,
One
basically.
monolithic structure. It's a
Yeah,
monolithic structure.
yeah.
Second, you cure it about minimum of 21 days.
Okay,
3 week curing process. One
okay.
day, one or day drying. The immediate case, you open the form work, you let it dry
And
for a
then you
day,
start curing.
then start curing, like basic curing, and then so 3 weeks is minimum, and you can, if you have the time, you can go in 4 weeks.
So how are you curing it? You're just spraying it with water?
That's one. In the beginning, we do cure with water. Then what happens is, then again we are very conservative with our
Mm-hmm.
water.
Mm-hmm.
So what we use is uh, put in a kind of like
Gunny
a
bags.
it's gunny bag sheets kind of thing which we make, and then spray water because it needs it keep moist, like an RCC structure, keep
Mm.
moist around.
So when you're doing
And
the
then
curing, do you have to make sure the whole wall is kind of like completely saturated with water? So we have to make sure it goes all the way in, right? So the
yes,
whole,
yeah.
yeah.
So also what we do is we have a tarpaulin. So I'll just show you another of a rammed
Mm-hmm.
thing. Uh, we have, while it's going on, I'll tell you about
Oh,
it. So
beautiful.
we also, yeah. So you can do what we call an vapor evaporation or vapor kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you clad this with tarpaulin if you want
Mm-hmm.
to invest in a tarpaulin,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's good for people who do a lot of structures. Then they can just put a tarpaulin over it, so it keeps that moist and damp.
So don't
And
expose it to the sun so that it doesn't dry out
yes,
so fast.
yeah, and it's so you don't have to use too much water. So that's part of water conservation and and curing
Yeah,
the.
yeah, yeah. Got it. Um, Let me ask you a question. So basically, 4 feet, we're doing like widths of 4 feet, like panels, right? So like tall panels. Um,
Yeah, depending what your form work is. Like,
right.
and it can be we usually have like 4 feet
So the
because the
next four
ply that
feet,
goes.
yeah, the next 4 feet, Donald, like what is the bonding between? So like you've done one panel in one day, and then
Right.
you start doing the next panel. So how do these two bond?
So we have got a tongue in the formwork.
Okay.
We have one side has a tongue groove,
Okay. Got it.
as a tongue. So the next one, the tongue, it's a tongue and groove
Hmm.
kind of thing in the shuttering.
And so when you're like, you're basically like you've done one panel, vertical panel, and then you start doing the next one on the next day.
I can show you. Do we have a tongue and groove or any picture that we can show? One of the joints together. I think we have my house. A close up if you can see. I'll just see if I can find one of
Cool.
those.
Yeah, so until
Uh,
then we can talk about the next question. So the next question is, can rammed earth be used in wet areas like toilets?
yeah, it can be used in wet areas like toilet, but you don't shouldn't get the direct blast of the
Shower.
water. Yeah, the shower kind of thing, because again, it'll start
Wearing
kind of
off.
wearing off.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you like, yeah, if you again, if I want to, I would have a transparent curtain just in front of it. Pull it. So while I'm having, I mean, it just, but I want to have a rammed earth wall. You can
Yeah,
have it on the shower wall.
yeah.
You will have no problem with it because it's not hitting the rammed earth.
Water's not hitting it.
But
Can you
yeah, but
tile
if it's,
over it? Can we tile over it?
oh yes, you can plaster over it, tile over it. Yeah,
Okay, got it.
a wax
Um,
finish.
how
Okay,
are,
just show this
yeah.
one. Just show this one. Yeah, show the okay. So here you will see. I'll just show you one wall that where the two different design.
Ah,
Okay, so you
right.
can see that the joint because it's much more visible,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
see the spiral brick
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So
column.
reminds me of Oroville so much. It's beautiful. That window is
So
beautiful.
that's my house coming up.
Oh, amazing. So contemporary
So
also, Donald.
yeah, it's
It's lovely.
mm, okay. Mm,
Beautiful. Okay. How are the building services planned in the structure? So talk to us about planning electrical and plumbing within a rammed earth structure.
So yes, you've got to be clear about where your electrical, plumbing, and this one is, and so you can put in 1 meter or 4 feet. I would up to 4 feet. I would put not more than two conduit pipes vertically.
Vertically.
You cannot put any conduits horizontally. So so you just get uh, your electrical and plumbing planning done, and so it is put just before you put the soil, and yeah, so you have to have your this one in place and then put your mud mix
Mm-hmm.
and this ram it. So I can just show you one picture of one thing that we have done, and you can see those pipes sticking out, and
Yeah.
you know so those are the electrical conduits that have gone,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll be putting up a lentil there, and then
Mm-hmm. So basically,
you
it's not like
see
a
this electrical,
traditional.
the sockets and all that already in kept
Mm-hmm.
in place before.
Mm. So basically, all of this has to be planned before the rammed earth is going in. It
Yes,
cannot be done like traditionally is done, where you chase it later and you can put it in and patch it up. Because obviously, we're
that-
also not plastering it, right? So
and the design will or because you cannot reconstruct that same pattern.
yeah, yeah.
It'll you'll lose the beauty of it.
Obviously, it look like patchwork. Yeah.
Yeah. So the simple thing is to keep the conduits there, and then like skirt level is like what you do or run your other pipes at the skirt level and take it round or above the lintel level or just run it on top of the lintel, and
Yeah. But
so
basically,
these
a
are some.
lot of planning needs to happen prior
Yeah,
to,
yes, you require prior planning
yeah, yeah,
and clarity about where your electricals come.
yeah.
So
A
that's why
lot.
we don't recommend that you have a rammed earth. All four walls should be rammed. So you because what happens is then one is where all your utilities go into.
Or
So
one wall can be plastered, right? So if you want to,
right, if you
chase
want,
it and do something, then this one wall you keep it as plastered. Or the other thing is
yeah,
also you keep the plaster to a certain height in the room and you do all your electricals under that, right? So you could
yeah,
have,
that's a beautiful solution. Yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah, that's a good one. That actually have the entire.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'll
like a
show you a
dado,
picture.
you know, that runs around the
Yeah,
house.
that's a
Yeah.
good one. I can show you a picture if you want of these guys standing and ramming, and then you see the conduits coming out from there, and it's all. Would you like me to show that?
Yes. More
Okay.
pictures,
Yes.
please.
See, yeah. Look at you can see in action, kind of like the real life
Yeah.
uh thing happening, and like the conduits are there, and the form work is there. This is today's
How
work that's
often can you
like.
reuse this form work, Donald?
Oh, you can use it for years.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
at least 1 or 2 years. Depends on how well you handle it and take care of it because it's all shuttering ply.
And the inside of this ply, do you have a laminate there to get like a smooth finish?
No, we oil it,
Okay.
diesel oil.
So that is just so it can come off easily.
Yeah, it's a mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't like because it doesn't stick to it.
Right. Okay, now we're changing gears here. I think we're going more again, more kind of big scale questions. Um, and someone is asking, can rammed earth be adopted in hill stations, or is it best suited for a flat terrain?
No, hill station is perfectly fine.
Yeah, there's no
You can
distinction
do it
there.
in, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, if it's a high rainfall area, then you will just need to, have a good overhang.
Yeah, actually, that's the next set of questions. So that we have a whole bunch of questions
Yeah.
about
So
moisture, about rain. How does the rammed earth, sort of react to rainfall? How do you protect the wall? Yeah,
So
and
do they want to see a picture of how we like oil the formwork?
yes.
Okay, I'll just show you a picture of actually one of the participants. We have the workshop going on, and one of the participants is see the formwork, and
Yeah.
he's oiling the formwork,
So
the
every
lining.
time you use the formwork, you have to
Yes,
basically oil it
yes.
with
Every
diesel
time
oil,
you
you said.
yeah, diesel. It's a mix of diesel and another linseed oil.
Okay. And this doesn't like discolor the walls in any way.
No, this doesn't. It doesn't show up at all
Okay.
because again, it's bra. This is pretty colorless right now,
Okay. Yeah.
and it evaporates.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, so do you want to just talk about the moisture, how to protect rammed earth walls, and what is the danger?
Overhang, overhang is the best. Overhang is the best. If you are in a like very you can oil or you can wax it. Also, if you want to give it more protection, you can wax it. So that's another good way to do it.
Hmm. Someone's just asked, does an exposed rammed earth wall in the exterior need more cement to stabilize? And I think the
No,
answer is no. Yeah.
no, you don't need more step because then it affects the breathability of the structure.
Yeah. And also the point is that you want the entire structure, not just the external walls, it's external and internal walls. Everything is load bearing. So everything has to have the same compressive strength. So it's not like the external walls are taking more load than the interior walls. I mean, I'm just answering the question. So
Yeah.
so basically the cement content that you would use will be similar for the entire structure. And the soil mix will also be similar. And then what Donald had said last time about moisture prevention is that obviously we do not want rammed earth walls to be hit by direct rain. So the best solution is to have large overhangs externally so that you can protect that direct lash of the rain on the walls. And
So I can show you a picture of our overhangs that we are doing
mhm,
currently, so you can get an idea of that. The angle of the rain is completely covered, so it's not going to hit the wall.
yeah. But that's still like, possibly just like a 2 foot overhang on this side.
No, no, no. It's a 6 foot.
No, on that, like where you have the veranda, it's high, where the columns are, that's where it's more. But on this side, where the rammed
No, no.
earth
It's
wall
it's
is.
continuously over 6 to 8 feet overhang.
Oh, really? Oh, it
Yeah.
looks quite
So there is
short.
no like. Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's just a picture. It's kind of coming on quite a bit.
Okay.
So just to give you an idea, so just cover the angles, so that yeah, you don't have I can show you a picture that you can see the extent of the overhang. Would you like to see that?
Yes.
Yeah, just
Always yes for pictures.
yeah. So yeah, I think the picture's still 1,000.
Yeah.
You can see the
Just if,
overhang.
yeah, we could. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Right. Lovely. Even with this overhang, though, the lower portion of the wall will still get hit by the rain, right?
I doubt no, because we have a slightly more overhang on the areas that are
In the
the wind,
directions
the
where,
rain, and the
yeah.
rain. This one,
Mm.
and at the base of it, we've got a stone foundation. So the where because again the ram death is constructed on
Above
the
the plinth.
foundation. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we've got a rubble stone foundation at the right at the bottom.
Hmm. Got it. And then, there is a question about mold and moss growth, which you had addressed last time. So basically, you said that yes, even if there is some mold or moss, you just basically take a brush after the monsoon and you brush it off. So it's very
Yeah,
easy
just put
to.
some vinegar in the water, and just apply it, and it's done.
Yeah. And okay, then the last question, and we're doing good on time, is how does the material not, I mean, I think it's a good question to end with. How does the material not lose its strength in the long run?
So you just do protective layering, or every 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, if you see, just take whatever soil that you've got and just do some grouting. That's all.
But I mean, I think the answer to this question is that rammed earth actually gets stronger over time. It actually doesn't lose strength, it actually gains strength over time. So, I don't think that that is a concern, right, in general. It may, as you said, like there may be
Yeah,
areas
you've
where it
got a
starts
Great Wall
chipping
of
or
China as
something.
an example.
Exactly, exactly, right? You've got so many old structures. So yeah, I just wanted to come back to that and say that rammed earth is actually stronger than any other conventional kind of concrete structure that we are building today. So it does not lose strength over time, it actually gains strength.
Yeah. And if you have somewhere where there's like very heavy atmospheric direct impact, or certain, because we're going through this climatic change, and you have got a structure, or you've made a structure, and then there's been a definite change of seasons because we can't predict, and you've got a sudden lashing of wind or rain. So like I said, just grout that surface and just give it a wax coat, and it's good to go.
Right. So interestingly, there's a project that we were observing in Goa where it's being done in rammed earth. And, when Chennai had this huge storm recently, and
Right.
then the storm came to Goa as well, and we had very heavy winds and rain and everything. There was actually like a thin laterite wall that was built on the first floor, and there were rammed earth walls all around. And actually, the laterite wall fell, but
Uh-huh.
like nothing happened to the rammed earth walls, So I think
Yes.
that there is a misnomer. There is just this, wrong kind of impression that people have that earth walls are weaker walls. And that is completely wrong because they're actually stronger than most concrete and stone and brick walls.
It is rammed at the stone. I mean, what is stone? It's nature's. Just take a million years to make it,
Yes. I don't
and
think
we
we
do
can
it in
do
a
that in our
day.
with ramming earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It
no,
was a million
lovely.
years of
So I think this was really great. I think we touched upon some specifics that we probably missed last time, and talked about some aesthetic possibilities of rammed earth as well. So once again, Donald, thank you so much for being
my
here,
pleasure.
giving us your
My pleasure.
time and all your knowledge that's in your brain.
Uh, Happy to share. It's not
Thank
my
you.
knowledge
Thank you. And everyone, you guys can go to Chia
source.
Mantra Global Village. They have an Instagram page. They do workshops. They're doing one right now where it's very hands-on, and you can actually build with rammed earth. And I think that can, and as you see, Donald is full of information and happy to share. So it can be really like a really good starting point for anyone
Yeah,
who
and if
wants
you
to
want any,
experiment.
yeah, and we do a whole gamut of stuff on sustainability. So if you have any questions on sustainability or recycling, or so we are happy to, even if we can't answer your question, we'll point you in the right authoritative source.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
thanks.
you. I hope to
My
meet you
pleasure.
soon. Thanks.
Yeah, probably I'll come to Goa. I think it's better you come
Well,
to
it's your
Tiruvannamalai.
hometown, so please
Yeah,
come.
but I get heartbroken every time I come there.
Oh, yeah, you will. Even more so now. So
Yeah.
thanks.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye, Anjali.
Goodbye. Good
Thanks
night.
really